Okay guys, my last video we just finished modification on the chassis, all the cutting, including the support shaft right here. We just did it last video, and today's video we're gonna continue the next step, and we're gonna do the modification on all the parts. Okay, so first we're gonna starting to do the arm. Okay, for the arm, as you can see on my setting, it is FRP, but in order to make it stronger and also make it to more durable, and it makes it more professional, and for the future modification, we have to double it. So which means we have to glue two pieces together to make it become 3 mm. Okay, because the original like this one 1.5 mm, it is too skinny, and it won't be able to holding a ball bearing like this one right here. Okay, so as you can see, in order to make it really professional setting on the suspension car, we have to insert a ball bearing, which right here, to holding the shaft, because it is not only to make it professional, it is also make all the suspension system it move more freely and also more accurate, because the original the non-modification right here, the hole, if you're gonna just using that to mount the shaft, it is just like it is just too big. It's gonna be really waggle and loose. So anyway, so in order to make it like can holding the ball bearing, you have to double it, because after you double it, you're gonna have about 3 mm for the thickness. So in this case, you can easily to insert a ball bearing, and the FRP can holding the ball bearing more stronger and more tight. So anyway, so next we're just gonna go ahead and do the modification. Okay, so let me open all the package of the FRP first. Okay, this is all the FRP plate. Okay, you might have some question about how come and why I'm using this piece for the arm. The reason, it is not about this piece is cheap, and it is not about the this one. It's my prefer, and it is about this is the only one I can, or either I won't say it's only one. It is one of them I can find on the market right now, which is have the right dimension. Because let's take a look at the original transmission system, MA system they have. Okay, so from this end of shaft to the end of the gear shaft, that's about 13. That's about 13.25 mm. Okay, that's the length. And this piece right here is the only one I can find, which is between this mounting point to this mounting point, have the right size, which is can fit to the MA or either MS chassis. Okay, so this is the number. See, it's exactly same. And I know there's a lot of different type of FRP, but unfortunately the most match one is this piece right here. And even this one, I keep looking, I really can't find any supporting point on this piece, and it is close to this number. Okay, either it is too long or either it is too short. So this is the only one which is a perfect fit to the dimension on the MA suspension system. So this is the reason I'm using it. It is about this is the only one is match the dimension. Okay, so anyway, we are going to double it. That's why we need 4 pieces, and each arm we just need half of it. And I'm just gonna using the marker to mark all the cutting point, so it is easier to let you know the cutting point. So first we're gonna cutting all the FRP and make it 2 halves. Okay, like this. we're gonna cut all the FRP, makes two halves. And the reason why it is, again, remember, we have totally 4 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4 arm. Because we're gonna double it, so we're gonna need a total 8 pieces. Because we can cut in half, so we're gonna have enough for 8 pieces. Okay. After I cut it, I'm gonna explain a next step. Okay. For cutting the FRP, we're just gonna using the Dremel plus the cutting bit, which is right here, and we're just gonna turn the machine on and start cutting it. Okay, here's all the pieces just finished cutting, and next we're gonna glue it. So in order to glue it, make sure you put 2 pieces together. All the hole, all the edges have to lines up. Okay, it's have to be very accurate. You cannot be a little bit offset. So that's gonna be affecting for the next step when you try to drill a hole to insert the ball bearing, because it's gonna be crooked. So just make sure it lines up really good. And the easiest way, and get a screw and some nut. Okay, using the screw right here, insert to it and insert to right here, and that 2 mounting point, and put a nut into it. And this way you can have a perfect lines up. And just gonna go ahead. So this is the way I'm doing. Make sure don't lock it. You have to adjust first before you put a crazy glue. So just lock halfway right now, and the next just gonna using your hand to see in it place not level. Okay, I'm just gonna using this plier to lines up the both end a little bit like this, especially right here. Okay, if you have a vise like this, it is better, because vise can give you perfect lines up, because it's very vertical when you clamp on it. So I'm just gonna use the vise to adjust it. It doesn't really matter, but you can do your own way. Just make sure it's lines really perfect, so it's gonna be better in the next step. We make the modification on it. So let me just make the lines up really good, and make sure all the pieces being level. You know, the best way to check if it lines up, get a 2mm motor shaft. Okay, this is the motor shaft. Okay, 2mm. So you insert this thing to it, you will take a look at it. If it lines up well, you can see it's really vertical. If it's crooked, it's gonna be stretch this piece offset. So let me just insert the motor shaft, just make sure it's everything lines up. Okay, so it looks like it lines up. So next we're just gonna go ahead and lock it. And double check again, make sure there's no any places offset. Okay, next, I know we already lock double than 2 pieces, so there's no any way you can apply crazy glue, because most crazy glue is pretty thick. And let me tell you the easiest way, using those type of like the sing, see that it says sing on it, and this is crazy glue is like water. Okay, when you drop to the surface to any gap, it will go to, go all the gaps to fill the gaps. So this is the most easiest way to glue it, because the other crazy glue you just have to put someone in and try to put 2 pieces together, but by the time you was try to line up, it's already dry out, so it's hard for you to really to double to do the procedure. So better way, like the way I'm doing it, is I lines up everything first and caliper everything and lock it, and I'm using this type of the Sing cat, the crazy glue, to dip a couple drop on the gap. So let me just go ahead, let me give you a better angle, you can see it. You will see after I drop this crazy glue into the gap, the crazy glue actually gonna go fill up all the gaps. Okay, so let me give you a better angle, you can see what's going on over there. So drop, see that? So same thing, you're not just gonna apply the top, bottom, Okay, so it's gonna be like this. Just wait for until it's dry. So just go ahead and do the same thing to the other 6 pieces. Okay, right now we're gonna move to the next step, and here's all the arm I just finished glue them together. So don't cut anything yet, just keep like that, because we're gonna fix the shape and cut the extra parts later. Okay, right now we're going to do a drill hole on the FRP, so we can insert a ball bearing right here and here, can make all the joint to be moved. Okay, because I was on the beginning of the video, I mentioned that in order to make it a little bit professional and also makes more accurate on the setting, you better insert the ball bearing on all the joint, because if you don't insert the ball bearing, what happened is without the ball bearing, this piece right here, the shaft gonna be moved like this, waggle. Okay, so with ball bearing you have enough support, and plus you making the whole transmission more smooth. So anyway, let me go ahead, mark the point which you're gonna drill, and this point right here, this little hole right here, this hole right here, this is gonna be the 5mm hole you're gonna make right here. Okay, this hole you have to do 5mm because you only have a little space. So if you do 6mm, still can do it, but you're gonna damage a lot of outside. So it's better to using 5mm drill, because you only have a little space right here. It's better to using the smallest ball bearing as you can. Okay, next, this hole right here, this hole gonna be the we're gonna do a 6mm or either 5mm, doesn't really matter, it's just up to you. So when we make a hole right here, we can insert the ball bearing so the axle can hold by ball bearing. So in this case, again, it's make the whole transmission a little bit smooth. Okay, in order to make very accurate the hole under FRP, you have to using this type of professional drill presser. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do the hole. And before I drill the hole on the FRP, so remember, you always want to do this by a pair. What I mean by a pair, it is you're gonna double 2 of the arm together, because you're gonna drill the hole on both FRP. So in this case, if you drill 2 FRP in one time, so all the hole gonna be lines up. It's gonna be both pieces gonna be have very exactly same dimension, exactly same, gonna have very accurate, the position on the hole. So it's better to, so every single time you better to double the two FRP together to do the cutting. Okay, so let me just go ahead and double it. Okay, right now set the two FRP arm under drill presser. So I'm gonna go ahead, just make sure the drill have to be very center. You have to drill the center of the mounting point, which is right here. So if you have hard time to tell, I recommend to insert a small 2mm propeller shaft, which is right here. I cut a little small piece and I put a 5mm ball bearing right here, and I put it right here, and I put on top of that. And when I gonna be fine adjust that, just put it down to see if every edges we match the center of the ball bearing. So you just keep adjusting, so just make sure you have to be very center. So otherwise if you a little bit too short or a little bit too long, you're gonna have problem with the transmission or the gear with biting. Okay, so anyway, let me just go ahead, since everything already being adjusted, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drill the hole. Okay. Okay, since we already finished the one of the arm right here, the hole, we're gonna go ahead and do another hole. That's for the axle. So axle, I do mention you have two options. You can either using 6mm, which is right here, or either 5mm. Okay, it's just up to you. Okay, it's all work same, but I'm just gonna go ahead using the other arm supporter and the axle. I'm gonna using both hole for 5mm. Okay, so it really depends what you want, but for sure this supporting right here, which is located right here, let me give a better angle. So this point right here, okay, this is the hole I already finished, which is this piece right here. This piece right here, you have to do 5mm, because this piece on the supporter, they only have a little space right here, so you can't really put a 6mm, because if you put 6mm, see that it's too tight. Okay, so it's better using 5mm every single time for this position right here. So for here again, you can using 6mm or 5mm. You have two options. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead do the drill on the axle. So let me just go ahead and make sure everything lines up, you know, nothing crooked, and the drill on the right position, so I can. Okay, should be lines up already. Just gonna go ahead. Finish this piece right here. Okay, so next we're gonna do the same thing to the other arm right here. Okay, so again, you're gonna just double them together and drill the hole. Okay, so in this case, both holes can be in the same location, and it's gonna be very accurate, and it's gonna be, you know, the same position. So after you cut it, make sure don't remove those screws which is holding the arm, because we need it for the cutting, because you want to line a pair and cut like as a pair, so all the cutting on the FRP can be exactly same dimension. So because you know what, because you're cutting one by one, so it's really hard for you to tell if two pieces can be matched exactly same dimension. So it's better always cutting a pair of arm like this, just put them together and cut them together and always modify together. So in this case, you can have exactly same thing. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead cutting these two pieces right now. Okay guys, just having these two pieces being have the whole drill on the FRP already. And next we're gonna do a very important testing before we move to the next step. Next we're gonna insert the ball bearing into the FRP like this. Okay, and we're going to use using a screw like this, and put in a kind of spacer. You can using aluminum spacer, doesn't really matter. and make sure have to this piece right here. Let me give a better angle, can see it. Make sure this piece right here have to stick out a little bit. Okay, same thing I'm gonna do to the other piece over there. Okay, next we're gonna remember earlier I mentioned this is the counter gear gonna go, and here is the shaft gear gonna go. So we're gonna put a counter gear right here, and also the drive gear right here. So we're gonna do like this. The reason before I move to next step I want to do this because I want to make sure my cutting on the hole it's all on the right position, because if you're cutting too short on the distance right here, it is gonna be your gear gonna be really tight. It's not gonna be really smooth. So right here you can see, let me give a better angle. So all the gear is have pretty nice gap right here between the gear to gear. Okay, so which means this is pretty much, it is very accurate. I mean, it's right size. Okay, because my first one I made a prototype, I cut a little bit short right here, this hole, between this hole I cut a little bit short, and it's make my gear a little bit tight, because remember these two gear once bites each other, and you have to leave a little bit gap like this much, about 0.3 millimeter. Okay, you cannot make it like 100% like bite like this so tight, because in this case the gear gonna block each other. Okay, you have to keep some gap between the gear to gear, like about like this much. Okay, so anyway, so before you do the installation, make sure you test like that, test the distance between the gear to gear, or either you can using a digital caliper to measure the size between so if the size is between around 13 millimeter, you should be okay. Okay, so anyway, just gonna go ahead and move to the next step. So next step I'm gonna using a Dremel and cut this piece first. Okay, we're gonna completely remove all the white spot right here. Okay, same thing with this one. Okay, gonna remove all this. Okay, so for removing this, we're gonna using the cutting bed plus the Dremel. Okay, we're gonna using the Dremel. Put the cutting bed on top of Dremel, and we're just gonna simply cut. Okay, these two pieces, I just finished cutting the side of supporting right here. So next we're gonna using this type of the some kind of grinder, and I'm going to make here a little bit curve, because I can see right here is the right angle, but the right angle, the problem is when the arm move like this piece gonna hit the chassis. I mean, this piece right here gonna hit the chassis, so you better to make a little bit round like this. So in this case, this piece can move like a little bit freely. So what I gonna do, I gonna using this piece right here to gently make it a little bit round. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, this thing right here just runs up. So compared to the original piece right here, you can see the difference. Let me give you a better angle if you can see it. So in this case, this arm right here wants to move up and down. So this piece right here not gonna be hitting the chassis, because again, when looking at the suspension system, so this arm, which is right here, this supporting point right here, it's gonna be moved like this, flip. So if you have this right angle right here, it's gonna hit in the chassis on the bottom of the about right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm telling you, if you don't make this side right here a little bit round, so when arm like a flip like this, so this piece right here gonna hit the chassis. So you have to make it a little bit round, so it's have the a little bit free move. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other FRP, which is right here. Okay, next we're going to move to the next step. So next step, we're gonna figure out which one you're gonna use in the front or which one you're gonna use on the back. So I'm gonna using this one on the front. So for the front one, we have to cut about right here. Okay, and all these pieces have to be gone. Okay, and right here, the little extra piece right here, you can see. So this piece we're gonna cut it too, and it makes right here it's flat. It's like level, okay, like this. And if we're gonna using this one at the back gonna be a little bit different, because back have a little bit short distance than the front. So as you can see, the back right here a little bit compact. Okay, very compact because it's really small. It's only have a very small distance right here, and here have a longer, have a little bit bigger space around here, so you can keep it a little bit longer. But of the back, you got no choice. You have to cut a little bit more, so in order to make the arm to fit to the chassis. So for the back, we're going to same thing. We're gonna remove this piece right here. Okay, so I gotta remove this screw because it's blocking my way. And we're gonna cut up to here. Okay, we're gonna keep a little bit more, because if you keep a little more in future, we still can fix it. But if you're cutting too much, we're not gonna be able to fix it if we overcutting it. Okay, so anyway, it's gonna be like this. Okay, so we're gonna using same thing, like the cutting bit again, like this one, to cut like this and a cut like this. Same thing here, cut like this and a cut like this. Okay, so I just for saving time, I'm just gonna not gonna show you how I cut it. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the cutting. Okay, next we're gonna try to insert the 5mm ball bearing into the arm. So we're gonna open the package. Okay, I know some of the hole we can feel it's really tight, like this one right here. So I have to using a hammer or something to hit it. And but if the hole right here, you feel it's very loose, like this one right here, if you want to make it tight like the other one I just did, like this one, easiest way, using a crazy glue to drop a little bit and put around the canal right here, and the same thing to here. Okay, so after it's dry, you can create a little bit thin layer, and the layer and makes the hole a little bit tighter. So when you insert the ball bearing, which right here, it's gonna be same as this one. It's really tight. Okay, I think it's dry. Okay, let me try. yeah, it's getting tighter. So after it's dry, you can see the canal become a little bit tighter, so you can insert the ball bearing, because otherwise the ball bearing gonna come off. It's gonna be very loose. So it's really important you have to, using the crazy glue to make the hole a bit tighter. Okay, so let me do the same thing to the other hole right here. Okay, here we go. Just finish all the arm. Shoot right here. So we're gonna go ahead and move to the next step. So next step, we're going to do the modification on this two part right here. This is actually, I already mentioned earlier on my part 1 video. That's from the item number 15357. Okay. We're gonna using this one because this one, when you insert a pipe right here, it can move freely, so it can be our joint on the middle of between the two arms. So it's gonna be like. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna using a drill to drill a little hole right here. So in this case, we can mount a screw into it. Okay, right here. So I'm gonna put it on the machine and using this one. I'm gonna make a little hole right here, and after that I'm gonna using a little bit bigger the hand drill to make this hole a little bit bigger. Okay, right now it's about 2 millimeter. Okay, so make sure it can fit a screw into it. Okay, now go ahead and do the same thing to the other one. Okay, by the way, you can using this piece to instead of using this, but I personally still prefer this one because this one is more easier. The only thing a little bit harder, just that you have to drill a little hole on it, and but this one is hard to use. I don't really recommend. Okay, and next we're gonna using this item number 15193. We're gonna cut both ends. We're only gonna keep the center, so we're gonna mount this one right here. Okay, so in this case we can like this one, we can when we do the installation and assembly, we can have both arm right here to have support put it right here. Okay, so we just go ahead and gonna cut it. Okay. So for cutting this one, I'm just gonna using the plastic cutter to do it, because it's FRP. You can using a cutter. You don't have to be using a Dremel. Okay, except it's very complicated cutting. You can using Dremel. So I'm just gonna using this one right here to cut it, and after that I'm just gonna go ahead and put on it. Okay, next we're gonna put this one on the gear cap. The reason we wanna make this one instead of direct mount the yellow piece on the gear cap, because let's take a look at the dimension of the gear cap. Let's take a look at mounting point on this two, because this two mounting point on this position, it is way too on the back, so which means it's not in the center. So in order to make a suspension, these two arms can be mounted in the center and it makes like have the same action. So you better put one piece of this, you're gonna put it right here. So in this case, you can have this hole right here and this hole right here can be in the center. So it is just for setup reason. That's why you have to put one piece of this. And let me just go ahead and put this on top of that. And first you're gonna take this piece right here. This piece, it is from the package right here. Okay, so it is come with, I think, 4 pieces from this package. If you have the item number 15334, actually it's come with this piece too. So it depends on what you have on your hand. Okay, so anyway, either way, you're gonna have like this type of, I don't know what's that called. It's like some kind of like little nipple stuff, like metal nipple. So anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this one on. So first thing you have to do, it is you have to get those 2 little metal stuff right here. You need 2 of that. Okay, and here's the 2. Okay, let me zoom in, can see how I do the modification. And next you need some washer, so we're gonna put some washer. Okay, and next you need some nut, so we're gonna need some nut. Okay, after that, okay, just be careful. The one in the center, which right here, the center hole right here, it is gonna be mounted right here. Okay, so we are going to using a screw. Okay, we're gonna put a washer right here. Okay, we're gonna from the back, from the mounting point I just talked about it, and from there, okay, it's gonna be like this. If you want to using longer screw, it is fine, because I know somebody using the screw to mount the body, but it's really up to you. So my design, it is I just gonna put a screw right here like this. So next, remember, this is gonna be our center point, because this mounting point actually it is in the center. So, but remember, there's no any mounting point right here. So in this case, you don't have any mounting point for the front arm. So that's why we need this piece right here. We're gonna create extension, which is on the front. So what are we gonna do? First, we're just going to mount these 2 pieces, the metal nipple first. Okay, we're going to make sure lock really tight, because this one you cannot use in lock nut. The reason why, because if you're using lock nut, it's gonna be too big. It's gonna hit the gearbox right here. Okay, so this one right here, which is finish 1. So this is gonna be the front arm we're gonna go into. So right here, put like this. Okay, so next we're just going to put another nut on top of that, and so we can lock the FRP on top of the chassis. Yeah, let me just go ahead. It's gonna be like this. Okay, so right now we have the front arm supporter right here. So right now we're gonna do the one in the back. So for the one in the back, actually, you don't need a nut, because it's already have one plastic mounting point right here, so you don't need nothing. You just basically just put it on like this, and using a regular wrench, just lock it. Okay, so as you can see, I just finished. So as you can see right now, this one and this 2 actually in the center, so both sides are gonna be almost same size. So you have about same distance from here and the same distance about right here. So in this case, your arm, which is right here, gonna be have very equal dimension on both ends. Because you don't want one arm getting too long, supporting all the way right here, because the reason why it is, you don't have that much space. You can put a support right like this. Okay, if it's become too long, it's gonna be really having hard time to make this joint move like really freely. So that's why I make it equal size. Actually, I make actually both ends a little bit closer to the arms joint right here, because you have to. And it's really hard for you to understand from video. Once you make one, you will know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so I finished this piece right here. So basically, let's see what do we have right now. We have the cap and all the joint and a supporter, joint support right here. So next we're gonna make a bar. We're gonna make a bar. Okay, the bar, what I'm talking about, it is this piece right here. Let me just open it to show you. So this is the bar, which is right here, you can see. So this piece is the bar. So the reason you're gonna make the bar, because in the bar, this piece actually can insert right here. So make the arm right here can move like freely. Okay, it's like some kind of like an oil suspension system. Okay, so basically you're gonna make this suspension system, and that's why you need this bar right here. Okay, you have two options to make this suspension bar. First option, if you have the item number 15334, and actually it's already have the which is bar right here, so only you have to do is just cut part of it to keep the size you want it. Okay, so that's why I always say this package is really very useful. But since this package don't come with the suspension bar, we gonna using the other parts to make a suspension bar. So we're gonna using this one right here, the item number 15059. We're gonna using this to make suspension bar. So as you can see, basically this piece right here and this piece almost same thing, but the difference is this here have a little bit metal stuff right here. Okay, so that's the problem we have right now. We're gonna try to remove this piece off, because the reason you want to move it, because this piece right here gonna block a little bit of the spring. So because if you have this piece right here, the spring cannot go all the way like this, so only can go halfway. So let me just go ahead and open it. Okay, so what I gonna do, it is first thing I gonna remove. We're gonna using plier to hold it, and then we're gonna remove the top, this plastic thing right here. So we're gonna using plier to hold it, and then using another maybe plier to pops up. So it's gone. Okay. So next we're gonna move to next. If you want to move this little piece right here, you can try. I mean, I used to try. I tried to hit it like this. Basically, it will come off. Okay, it's come off. Okay, see, this piece come off. So as long as this one can move like this, so we're gonna cut this off so we can have the piece. Okay, so let me do that again, because you might still don't get it how I do it. Okay, first thing, using plier to hold one end, and then using another cutter plier to move the plastic nipple off like this. Okay, it's gone. So next we're gonna move this piece off, the metal piece right here in the middle. So let me give you a close angle. You can see how I do it. So let me put on my tripod so you can see how I do it. Okay, I'm gonna using my plier, which is right here, to gently. I'm not gonna hold it really hard. I'm just gonna gently to grab on it. Okay, like this. Okay, don't force it. Okay, just gently, just grab on it. Next, you're gonna put like this. Okay, you're gonna hit it, hit it, hit it. Okay, hit it, hit it, hit it like this. Hit it, hit it. basically you would try to using this piece, try to press this metal thing down. So that's what you do. You're gonna gently hold right here and hit it like this vertically. Okay. It's come off. See that? The reason because they have a little bit like some kind of thing to block this one on top. So that's why you have to using a plier to hold like this, because you don't want to hold too hard. Hold too hard, you can damage the screw head right here. So just make sure don't hold too hard. Just gently hold it and hit like this. Okay, couple times. Trust me, this piece is gonna come off. Okay, so next we're going to we're gonna using a Dremel to cut part of off first. Okay, so let me put my camera back to the right position and can show you how I do the job. Okay, remember we only gonna keep the one has screw head right here. Okay, this piece right here, gonna remove it. Remember original this piece right here, about right here, we remove it, so this one become loose. So we're gonna cut one end off. Okay, okay, same thing to the other one. Okay, so we have two pieces right here like this. Okay, let me give a better angle, you can see. Okay, just make sure to have one end have screw head right here. Okay, so next we're gonna try to put this one into it. Okay, just like doing a regular screw. So you just basically just put it on and turn. Okay, so this one can go inside of this thing using plier to hold one end, and I'm just gonna go ahead, let's turn. Okay, make sure don't go all the way, make this piece stick out, just make it's about there. Okay, because later we're gonna insert some kind of a tube right here, you don't want to block it, so that's why like this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and finish the other piece. So again, gonna hold it, and you remember there's a hole I made earlier, so you're gonna insert to here, just slowly to make it fit into it. Okay, so this is the joint and the bar. Okay, so this is gonna be our suspension system main part. Okay, so we have this right here. Okay, and then next we're gonna do another modification, and we're gonna remember these two white thing come from this package, item number 15357. We have the little metal tube right here. We're gonna do a little bit of modification on the metal tube because the original metal tube is kind of too long. It's really hard for our next setup, so we're going to take that metal tube, which is let me get a two metal tube first. Okay, So this is the metal tube, and we're gonna do a little bit like modification. And you can see this metal. You can say this is metal pipe or whatever, but it's really up to you. So you have this piece too much stick out. So the problem it is we're gonna fix a little bit right here, because the reason why, if this things move, so the suspension system gonna be waggle like this, which is I don't want to. I want this one it being really solid like this. So in order to giving a better stable on the arm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim off a little bit on this side, so make the middle pipe, this little thing, a little bit shorter. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna using a plier to hold it, so I can see a little bit right here. I'm using the Dremel, the cutter, and starting to slowly ground off. Okay, so let me see. Looks like I need to trim up a little bit more. Let me fix edges. So okay, let's try again. It fits. So actually still have a little bit stick out, so I'm gonna go ahead trim off a little bit more. So it's better if you have vise, you can hold it. If you don't have vise, you can using your hand. It's really up to you. So I'm gonna using this one right here, plastic cutter. Maybe you can hold it a bit stronger, so I can trim off a little bit more. Okay, I think it's about right here. Okay, let's try again. Should it be about right there? Yeah, it's about right there. Just have to have a little bit more, so I'm just gonna go ahead and trim a little bit more. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, yeah, it's about right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. So let me give a better angle, can see it. So you're only gonna do a okay, as you can see, you only have on the side angle right here, you only have a little bit, really barely have a little bit of stick out. So that's how you want to do. You don't want this one too deep, but you do want this piece a little bit stick out, just a little bit, probably 0.1 or either 0.2 millimeter. Okay, like this, you can see on the side just a little bit, because again I don't want this piece move too much. That's why I have to fix a little bit right here. So same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and fix the other one. Okay, so before I fix the other one, I'm gonna show you side by side, see what's different. See the difference? Okay, so this piece right here, the one I'm holding right now, this one right here, this is the one's not being modified. So this one right here is the one being modified. You can see the difference. So the original one has more pieces right here stick out about 1 millimeter. So I'm gonna trim off about 80% of that, this piece right here. So it's gonna become like this. Okay. So okay, right here we have everything. The parts being modified. The gear cap right here, on the arm right here, and the joint suspension right here, and all the parts ready to go, and including the chassis and the gearbox right here. I'm not gonna cut right now because the reason why, when I do the assembly, I will explain how we're gonna cut this piece, because it is better for us we do the cutting on the gearbox right here when we do the assembly, because it's more easier to teach you how the reason why I want to cut this and that, you know. Okay, anyway, let's just go ahead move to the part 4, which is the assembly. Okay.